Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor. We are going to talk about Timeless, Season 1, Episode 7. It's called Stranded. Full spoilers for the episode as always. Last week we praised it quite a bit for shaking up the formula. It was different to the usual week to week thing, and I think this week did that again. I think we got a completely different structure, completely different.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense given the name. You kind of immediately know what this episode's going to be.
Yeah, yeah, you know they're going to be stranded without a way home. Not that the ship goes missing, but the ship gets damaged, and they have
Yeah.
to try and fix it, and that's kind of the plot of this one. Flynn, and this is part of what made it feel so unique and different to the other episodes, is that they don't even chase around Flynn. Like Flynn's, you don't even see him. You see a couple of his goons at one point, but that's just there to set up the plot. Once it gets going, it's not about stopping Flynn; it's about getting home,
Yeah.
which is nice because it's different. It's kind of one of these standard plots that these types of shows tend to have. I'm sure Doctor Who's done this like 20 times probably over its 50-year history.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh my god, where's the TARDIS gone? Ah, how are we going to get home?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so I appreciated that. I also appreciated that actually start off when they're already in like the past. It just starts off like, we understand they go back every time like the alarm goes off. We don't have to see it going off again. Like,
I kind of hope that is it now. Like, I mean, I almost want to see, you know how they do the opening scene of how it plays originally.
hmm.
I want to go from that and then cut to them just there. Not necessarily every week, but like maybe a lot of them.
It just depends if they've got something to say with the present day stuff. Because what the other thing that I really appreciated this is that we actually cut to present day throughout the episode. It's not just
Start and end
start
here.
and end. So it actually feels like they actually have something to do.
It is, but I feel like a lot of the time they don't have anything before they go back. It's just like this is the framing narrative they have decided upon.
Yeah, but obviously now they're starting to shake that up a little bit, and
Yeah.
I think this episode is really an example of the show finding its footing. There's a couple of little time travel logic things that I'm not quite feeling, but other than
Mm.
that, I actually really liked this episode. I thought this was maybe the best one yet.
I'm not sure I'd go quite that far, but it's very good.
Because what I think this one did, I think the characters have been growing on us a bit over the last few, but I think this one more than anything made me like them and made me care about them. Uh,
Okay.
Specifically, Rufus gets a really good few scenes to shine in this one. Not only when he's there, but like when it's Jaya and Mason talking about him. And not only does this give us some background on Rufus that we kind of had a hint at, it also gives us some good background on Mason. Because last week we were talking about we don't know if he's really evil when he's like with the Rittenhouse guy, and now I kind of feel like he isn't. I feel like he actually is kind of a good guy
Yeah.
who actually cares about Rufus and wants to like help him. Even when he's on the phone to the Rittenhouse guy,
You're
he's like,
saying that the team are in danger, not just the ship.
yeah, the team are in danger. Yeah, we have to get them back.
Yeah.
And he even notices that he specifically says Lucy. He doesn't say the team. When you get the team,
Yeah.
it's like the Rittenhouse guy's like obviously because it's Lucy's father is very specifically interested in Lucy.
Yeah. It's also like, you say he went to Jaya and they had that scene about how they met him.
Hmm.
And he didn't have to do that. He clearly likes this guy. He is clearly like close with this person. There is no reason for him to do that if he was just evil.
Yeah, yeah, and even to her to an extent, he clearly wants to try and comfort her because she's, you know, not doing so well.
Yeah.
With the threat of him being dead and everyone being dead and trapped in the past, which
See, at least with that one, I could say maybe if he is an evil genius, he'd want to make sure he motivates her to actually try and save them because he wants
true,
his time
okay,
ship back. I could
true.
kind of buy that one, but you know,
I like the threat as well because even though we know they're not going to do it because it would end the show if they're just stuck in 1750 something. Like I like the threat of it, like like when they're arguing about how awful it'll be if they get stuck back here. They've got smallpox to deal with. They have like two armies to deal with. Um, Rufus at one point even cracks a great joke about yeah when they're deciding because obviously once he's built his makeshift circuits and whatever to try and actually like hopefully power the ship to get back because it's damaged in the blast early on. He says, "Look, this is a risk. We might die, or we're stranded here." And both Wyatt and Lucy say, "Yeah, let's do it." And then Rufus says, "I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of looking forward to being enlisted into slavery." you know, like he cracks a joke about how like everything. It just caps off how awful this time period is and how none of them want to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I liked the protocol thing, where it's like the plan if they need like help in the future, is to like plant a message like deep into the ground and
Do you know what I liked most about it?
it failed.
That but I like that Rufus called him out on it. Like, well, he mentioned it to Jaya at the end. Like, come on, the guy should be able to build something that doesn't break.
Yeah,
Like a bloody time machine.
But
because I noticed that and I was like, oh, I'm glad he called it out.
But I'm kind of glad that we got these moments at the end where, I mean, obviously they had the kiss, which was nice, and it was a nice sort of ending to like him being this awkward guy. Because even Jaya and Mason talk about how awkward Rufus can be. Like he could almost win an award for how awkward he can be, and we see that at the end. But she just sort of lets him off the hook and like kisses him, and I like the word actually spend it, because this episode, the plot in this episode is kind of just they're stranded. And
that's about it.
They're stranded, and that's about it. And like they're having to sneak into the French base and like steal some like material so you can maybe build a conductor or a circuit, whatever. I can't remember what it was.
It's a capacitor.
Capacitor. Like, oh yeah, because the flux capacitor joke.
There you go. I'm surprised that didn't stick in your mind, to be honest.
The other Back to the Future reference a few episodes ago was more memorable. But I love that Wyatt's the one who's made the reference both times. It's like his entire time travel knowledge comes from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Like a flux capacitor? No, they don't exist. I also like that they happen to be in a place that ends up being like the middle of a city.
Yeah.
So when they go to find the capsule, they have to like dig up someone's, backyard.
Like a bit of street, yeah.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, I think they said it was.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that they sold the idea that everything changes so much that and I assume you liked how she figured out what the message was.
What can I say?
Because all the words get rubbed out. Because obviously, just the case was cracked, so it degrades. Most of the text goes away. They analyse it enough where they can make out two words: death and millennium. I'm curious, Connor, at this point, did you have any inclination that this was going to be a Star Wars reference?
No, because the show has not made any yet, if I remember rightly.
That's funny, though, because I'm actually going to make a complaint, not against this show, but across TV in general.
Too many Star Wars references.
Yeah, I feel like there's too many Star Wars references going on right now. And you must have noticed this.
It has happened a lot, like, pretty much since, maybe a few months before the last film came out.
It's, like, constant, like... Flash does it like every 2 weeks.
See, the thing is, at least Flash references so much that it kind of gets away with it. It sneaks through, doesn't it?
Like, don't get me wrong, I know they've referenced Back to the Future a couple of times, but at least that's a time travel movie, so I get that it's actually kind of funny that Wyatt would constantly reference that, because that's his one, like, oh, I seen that movie, this is what I know about time travel.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more... and I think that's the other thing that... Like, I like the whole, like, she's a Trekkie and he's into Star Wars, and that, like... it's a bit of character, but at the same time, from a real-world perspective, where I actually, I am a nerd, I know other nerds, there's not really a rivalry between Star Wars fans and Star Trek fans. I have never witnessed this in real life, but for some reason, movies and TV shows like to pretend that there's this war between them. I don't know why.
I agree, although I'm going to excuse it a little bit, where we are not old enough to... have lived through, like, when they were first met and had this rivalry. Like, because obviously, it was quite a while ago, right?
Yeah, but Jaya and Rufus aren't that much older than us, especially Jaya.
Well, yeah, I suppose she's not. Then again, did they say how long ago it was they met? Because I'm thinking it must have been a fair bit.
A few years, sure.
Oh, is that it? I suppose.
She's not that old that they
no,
would have
she's
met.
Not that. No, I know, but I was thinking, like, like a fair bit. Pre all the general internet stuff.
Oh, it's not that long ago.
No, fair enough.
I mean, I didn't even have internet until I was like 10, and she's not that much older than me, so it's not that old.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's just how I was thinking in my head, just to make it fit in my head, because like you say, it doesn't really happen. No.
I will say this though, when she mentioned she brought a tribble, I was like, well, that was a reference I wasn't expecting.
This is true.
And I was actually really expecting Mason to be like, what's a tribble? But he just goes along with it. He seems to know what it is. It's like, oh, fine.
I don't know which I prefer. The idea that he knows what it is, and he's like, he's way into Trek,
Yeah.
or that he's just like, I'm not going to ask. And I'm just not going to go there.
Honestly, he's into science, and he is older. He's in his 50s or whatever, maybe pushing 60. I don't know what age he is, but he seems like the right age that he might have watched that as a kid.
And he is someone who has built a time machine.
I said he was into science. That kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
covered that.
No, I'm just saying, like, this isn't just science. This is like hardcore sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
even to them, they're like aware that this is, really like futuristic and sci-fi-ish.
Yeah, my complaint about the time mechanics, like the way it was cutting back and forth between the episodes as if they were both running parallel. I didn't have a problem with that because to me they weren't really running parallel. It was just how it was being presented to us for it to
Yeah.
sort of make sense. Because the idea being that obviously whenever they time jump in the past, like all they have to do in the present day is kind of like whenever they decide to do it is catch them. The moment it lost me is when they said, "Oh, they've just initiated a jump." I'm like, "Wait, how? Why?"
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Like you're not running parallel. It's in the past. They've always initiated the jump.
Yeah.
That part didn't make sense to me.
It didn't, especially as all the other rules played with the idea that it changes and
Yeah.
then that it catches up to them.
Like because the way I was reading it before they said that, I was thinking, right, so they'll do this time jump, and we see this sort of diagram on the computer of them going through the time stream, if you will. And the idea I was thinking was that at any point in present day, when they realise what they have to do, is they essentially just have to, like, you know, I'm going to say a hand, it's not an actual hand, but, it just reach out and grab them at whatever
Yeah.
time they're trying to do it. But if they miss them, that'll, like, mess it up, and then, Kilbui.
That's kind of what I thought it would be, and then it wasn't.
No, they treated it as if it was, like, running alongside, like, at the same time.
Honestly, it feels just like a mistake, which I think is fair to call out on because it's probably the first mistake, really, of it breaking its own rules.
And even forgetting that, like just the idea that they know it's initiated a jump in the past, like how would they know that? How could they read that data? I don't get that part.
They can't.
Yeah, it's impossible.
I mean, it could transmit to them in real time, but no, because they're always surprised when it just shows up.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe it transmit through time, but no, because then I don't know. That's what I mean. It sounds stupid, but I thought maybe. But they're always surprised when it showed up. That's why they had the paperweight joke.
Yeah, but even if you forget those things, right, and you say okay, it can transmit through time, then why not just send the message that was on the note through time from the because all the other stuff still worked on the ship. It was just the thing to get
Yeah,
it going.
yeah. No, you're right.
So the thing that this episode really focused on, we actually spent a long time talking about the plot there, mainly because of little like that one sort of kind of plot hole. But what this episode really was an excuse for the characters to rebond after they'd kind of fallen apart last episode, and we get that scene where they're strung up with the natives and they are going to be killed, and Rufus talks them out of it, and we get that bonding. But even before that, the moment where they actually start laughing with each other after they've been so at each other's throats like through the entire episode.
I really like that Wyatt just threw the recorder away, just so that they could kind of have this freely.
Which, by the way, they never actually bring up at the end. Like, we never see Rufus have to try and explain it at the end. So maybe it'll just be brought up next episode, which is fine.
It's one of those things where but at the same time, we never see him alone with Mason, do we?
No,
At
we
the
don't.
end?
No, I don't think so.
So it's like, when would he get asked about it? Like,
True.
when would he have to explain it from what we see?
But what I did really like about the ending, though, first of all, I love that they landed not actually in the right space. They landed like slightly off, like on the desks. But I liked the moment where they're all coming out the ship and the music's playing. I thought that actually was kind of effective. Like I was actually kind of like, yeah, I'm glad these characters are safe. I'm glad they're back. I'm starting to care for them, and that's good.
Yeah, it was a bit of a triumphant return, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially Rufus, because we see Jai's like face like light up when he, when he walks out. Good bit of acting for a start, but it generally speaking, it was just. I think the show was fun to begin with because it's like we're going through time and all this, and the plot's starting to get a little bit more interesting because we have this idea of the journal from the future. Like, how does that all tie in? Rittenhouse isn't super interesting yet, but hopefully that develops. The guy's a bit one note. Her dad.
Yeah, but I'm kind of like, all right, well, I'll give it a chance still.
Yeah. But the thing that was missing to make me really care was caring about the characters. And I feel like this episode went a long way to get me to that point where I actually kind of care about these people now.
And that's always the trick with these sorts of shows. The
Yeah.
plot can be average if you have good characters. If you make me care about the characters, your plot can you can get away with more. You
Yeah.
can do kind of just knockabout episodes, and I won't mind.
I agree, and I think this puts us on the right track for that kind of thing. And I think all three of them. I actually just really loved that at the end. There's a scene where they're in a bar and they're just casually sitting down and talking to each other. Which, by the way,
Might be the first time we've seen them all out of work, right?
yeah, I think it is. I totally want some of those chocolate covered Twinkies,
Oh, the Chocodiles.
the Chocodiles. Yes,
Fair enough.
I enjoy a Twinkie. I've never had a chocolate covered one.
Nor have I. I thought it was weird that they were so shocked that there was such a thing.
There's like so many. It's like Oreo cookies. There's like over. I think there's like 100 flavors. Like there's like the main one that everyone has, but then
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
the limited edition ones and the ones that only show up.
I think it's just because I know Chocodiles because of American Dad, where they're
Right,
like a
okay.
big thing in that I thought they were just such a like that everyone knew about them.
Well, there you go. Lucy and Wyatt don't watch American Dad. You've sleuthed out a bit of a factoid there.
I have.
But I like that scene. I like that they are bonding outside of work, and I like that they're all kind of on the same page. And Wyatt understands that Lucy wants her sister back because she was never meant to be gone in the first place. Like they actually messed something up that caused that, and Rufus's family's in danger, and obviously Wyatt still cares about his wife, and so I like it. Proper bonding. I properly kind of care about them all now. They all seem a bit more three dimensional.
Yeah, definitely.
So no, it's good. It's a good solid episode. But
It
I,
is,
I
and
legitimately think it's the best episode yet, because even though the plot was just kind of simple, that was kind of the point. It was to let the characters do their thing and have this journey. Alright, as you can see, Connor has vanished into the ether. His internet went out mid-recording. Well, I say mid, it was actually right towards the end as we were closing up. So instead of pushing this review an extra day to have him here for the outro, I'm just going to say goodbye myself. We were pretty much done anyway. We talked about all the major things. The only last thing I wanted to mention was that the joke with the French doctor wanting to put mercury up Wyatt's ass was quite amusing, and Wyatt not knowing what he meant was good fun. There's a few fun things there with the French translations, and him asking Lucy how to say "I had sex with your mother" in French. But no, really fun episode. Connor clearly liked it quite a bit too. Aiden, if he was still here, he would tell you so. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. We will be back next time. Goodbye.